August 1819. A journey began that would take 21 men on an incredible journey, ladies and gentlemen, that would become one of the greatest true stories in all of humanity. Welcome to In the Heart of the Sea.
We were headed for the edge of sanity. Like we were apparitions, phantoms. Trust gave way to doubt. Hope to superstition. Tragedy of the Essex is the story of men and a demon.
Ron Howard epic is about to be premiered, and ladies and gentlemen, we couldn't be more proud of our New Bedford Whaling Museum, of James Russell, CEO and President, of Christina Cornett, the curator, of Arthur Mata, Director of Marketing, all of whom join us this morning. First of all, congratulations.
Thanks, Phil.
Christina, are you there?
I am.
Congratulations for what has to be a remarkable weekend.
Oh, it was absolutely fabulous. Yes, it was wonderful.
How would you describe it, James?
So we were down in New York City, and we were guests of Warner Brothers, and it was for what they call a media junket, which is a great sounding name, right? And so what the media junket is they gather everybody in one location about 2 or 3 weeks prior to the movies being open to the public. And they have media from international, national, and press come, meet the actors, meet the directors, wine and dine them, show a great time.
Yes.
And we were right in the middle of this. Warner Brothers, we've been working with them for the better part of 2 years or so. And so they invited us down to be part of that mix. And it was it was a great experience, obviously. And it was super to meet a lot of the actors and the director, and also to have an opportunity to talk about New Bedford. It was a fabulous branding opportunity. I can't tell you what you would have to pay for a branding opportunity like that.
Absolutely. Millions of dollars. Millions when you think about the global and the national media exposure. You can't buy publicity like that.
You know, just yesterday, we were talking to 4 reporters, 2 from Brazil, 1 from Chile, and the other from Mexico. And this just went on and on and on. Christina got down Thursday. She can tell you all about that. She got a U-Haul truck here, loaded her up with our best stuff.
Oh, no. Wow.
Schleps it all down to New York with Arthur and others. And and then it was just a roller coaster. We all got back in the wee hours of the morning. We're here today, Phil.
Oh, thank you for that.
You and I spoke on Saturday about this.
Yes.
And we were down at the Ritz-Carlton, and I think when we were talking to you, I can't remember, Ron Howard walks right by us, and this just happens. It's all being there. Dagny Ashley was there with us too from the city. She was working the crowd like it's fabulous. So it was really a very good weekend for New
indeed.
Bedford.
James, we're going to delve into what this means for New Bedford, for the New Bedford Whaling Museum, known around the world for its excellence. But Christina, so I hear that, as James said, you schlepped a lot of the artifacts. I guess you had to get special permission for this to happen?
We did. We gave a list to our collections committee chair and reviewed that list, made sure that everyone was fine with that, and we had our team at the museum specially wrap everything very carefully to ship it down to New York. And it just went beautifully because all of the artifacts we chose were things that some of the survivors of the Essex would have had on their whaleboat, like navigation tools and a compass and a piece of hardtack that they were surviving on. It gave context to the film. I mean, we take for granted that we live in the whaling capital of the world and we live this story of man and sea, but many of the press are not as familiar, obviously, with how integral that story is to American history. And so we were able to provide to all the press and as well as the celebrities coming in that context for their story so they could better understand the film.
Surely. And this takes us back to 1819 when the 238-ton Essex set sail from Nantucket on a journey that produced the world's greatest tale.
And Melville is woven into this movie. So for listeners who haven't read Nat Philbrick's Heart of the Sea, and by the way, we're hoping that Nat Philbrick will be Ishmael for Moby Dick, our 20th anniversary of reading Moby Dick, which is coming up in January, and we talked to Nat about it. We actually we also talked to Charles Levitt, who was the screenplay writer for Heart of the Sea, and he's hoping to come too from California,
Beautiful.
which would be great.
Oh,
so it's a great way to continue this and build up excitement. And what the story is about is this ship, Essex, which goes around the Horn, and it goes off to the grounds off Chile, and then it is struck, the vessel itself is struck by a whale and sinks. And of course this gives Melville his inspiration for Moby Dick. And so one of the surviving characters, Tom Nicholson, he's played by Tom Holland as he's a young chap, but then later in life Brendan Gleeson, the Irish actor, plays him. And Melville comes to visit him in Nantucket and then plies out of him through a combination of money and drink this story of what happened on the Essex. And this continues through. So it's a narration as then you're brought back with these vignettes. And it's a very exciting, very dramatic, action-filled film. And yet it deals with all the issues that we're dealing with here. And it was really, it was very reaffirming to see Ron Howard and the actors. They were really getting some of the questions we ask, questions about opportunity and commerce and natural resource depletion, issues that we're dealing with today, fossil fuels or whaling then. And all of these issues were dealt very, very carefully by the director.
We are joined by Arthur Mauda, Director of Marketing. Arthur, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Phil. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm excited for all of you. That's how I'm doing. I mean, this is just an opportunity that is over the top.
Yeah, it really is. It was a lot of fun. Very exciting to be in at Central Park South, right in the heart of Midtown, and it was quite a sight to see all those limousines lined up and the actors get out. And, it occurred to me from a point of history, the Whaling Museum was there 60 years ago, and with the same studio, Warner Brothers, when Moby Dick came out with Gregory Peck and John Huston. And the Whaling Museum was a vital historical resource for Houston, as you know, Phil, because you're a film aficionado. And I said, actually, to one of the production people at Warner Brothers, I said, boy, we can really count on Warner Brothers to document whaling, because the last time you did it, it was with Peck and Houston.
What a great story. What a great connection.
Yeah, it's a great... And next year, of course, is the 60th anniversary of that film. And, that film, I think it's a great comparative in terms of cultural history to compare what's happening with this film. I mean, the effects in this film are startling. They're really stunning. I was really taken by the sound, too. I mean, the sound, I suspect sound could get an Academy, Award nomination.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, but it's really quite remarkable to compare the two. But, the film that premiered here with Peck and Houston in 1956, and, of course, next year, 2016, the 60th anniversary, is getting new appreciation. As a matter of fact, at the beginning of October, none other than Jay Hoberman of the New York Times wrote a review of Houston's version of Moby Dick, Obsession on the High Seas. If you Google that, you'll see the title of that particular review. And he says it really is an underrated, one of the great films, one of the great adaptations of Hollywood. And so even the old film that the Whaling Museum and the city was involved with is seeing renewed appreciation.
Yeah. Well, as the director of marketing, I'm sure you and James and Christina and everyone is thinking already about how to celebrate that special anniversary. But right now, In the Heart of the Sea is to be celebrated. And wow, Arthur, this is such great news. Christina, what was the highlight of the weekend for you?
Well, James will make fun of me, but meeting Chris Hemsworth about 20 times I think I shook his hand as often as possible. Ron Howard was absolutely wonderful to speak with. And I think one of the funnest times that I had was being able to sit in on the press conferences. James and I sat in the print press conference yesterday morning, and Arthur madly taking pictures. And just to hear how much fun they had with the film, how much research they'd done, all the behind-the-scenes stories, and their real understanding of what American whaling meant to this country. It was really fun to just get that behind the scenes. But also, we're very excited that we're in conversation. It's not finalized, but with Warner Brothers to borrow some of the costumes from the film. Ooh. And we're planning on doing a special exhibition about the ethics surrounding the premiere of the film at the Whaling Museum, and we might have some actual props from the film to share with the public, which would be wonderful, and we'll certainly get that press out if that happens.
Oh, what a terrific exhibit that would be.
So Arthur was he was doing his best guerrilla marketing down there. He was bopping in and out of these studios with the actors, and he had the camera up over his head. He was ushered out and he was shooed out, and finally we had to get some clearance from the security guards just to keep him at the Ritz.
James says I was kicked out of a few of the meetings because you're not supposed to take pictures, but I'm taking them for archival purposes. These pictures are going to survive in the library of the Whaling Museum for hundreds of years. So I've never been kicked out of a better place.
So, Arthur, I think it's true to say that even though there were hundreds of reporters from all over the world, the Standard Times has the first photograph actually on this whole event. It's remarkable.
That is something.
Absolutely.
Did scoop it.
Arthur got kicked out of every single press conference, I think, at some point or another.
Actually,
Phil, for me, the best line in the movie comes at the very end for me. And, at the very end, after they've through the ordeal, there's this sort of, I'm paraphrasing, he says, but has for Owen Chase, he starts a new life in New Bedford.
Ooh!
And then we were all in the back row.
Started yelling, oh, yes!
And, of course, the real Owen Chase did. He leaves Nantucket, and he becomes the captain of the ship Windsor out of New Bedford. And he becomes a successful whaling captain even after this. So So, in other words, he starts a new life, he comes to New Bedford and starts it and becomes successful. I thought it was a fantastic sentence.
So we've got so people will be able to see this movie
Yes.
obviously soon. And one of the great things that Warner Brothers has done for us by way of saying thanks, because we, as I mentioned earlier, we were talking to Warner Brothers for 2 years about this, and we were hoping that this media junket would have come to New Bedford in February. But of course, we all know what happened in February, and that totally, all that snow just totally derailed the plans. But you can imagine what that would have done for the local economy.
Surely.
As we actually had board permission to close the museum for 10 days so that they could come in and set up and take over. And as Arthur was alluding to when Gregory Peck was here, people are still talking about it today.
Of course.
So too bad the snow got in the way, and truth be told, I think they were a little late on the production anyway. But what we will do, and what they are allowing us to do, is have a South Coast premiere. And it's going to be, we were trying to do this at the Zeiterion, but they've got contractual relations with Flagship, so we have to go there. And it's mostly, they don't send these things in Super 8 containers anymore, Phil. You know, these things are digitally communicated and sent. So that will be on, I think it's December 5th.
Okay.
It's very limited. It's 169 seats, I think, in there. So you're going to come along as our guest and elected leaders, VIPs, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We are trying to get additional viewings because this is before it opens. I think it opens in New York on the 9th, if I'm not mistaken. So we're getting a jump start on that. And what we're trying to do is I want to get a lot of the students to go. So we're talking to Warner Brothers, as Christina alluded to there. We're trying to make sure that we get some of this material here because, look, they filmed the previous one years back in Youghal, Ireland. And wouldn't it be great to have those props now? And,
oh, my gosh, yes.
We did our very best. We had all the actors and Ron Howard sign a poster for us. So we've got that. That'll be on view in Christina's exhibit. And so this is all kind of dialing up now. And it's part of the next 2 months, you're going to see a lot of activities all related around the Moby Dick Marathon. Christina's got this awesome exhibit with a Portuguese photographer called Nuno Sá that we're bringing over from Portugal. We're showing his work. So it's all kind of just layering one on top of the other.
Wow.
And so at the end of the day, we're hoping that we're going to get a big bump in attendance.
Oh, I'm sure. And next summer, we will definitely see a positive effect because of this, I'm sure.
Oh, that must be in the cards. One would anticipate that, and we have to plan accordingly.
And how ironic that now we have a straight streamline authority permission to go from New Bedford to Nantucket.
And that conversation has already started about promoting that.
See?
I can tell you. Dagny and I were talking about that now.
Well, Christina, with you in the middle of this Hollywood star power, you came back starstruck, but I'm sure the weekend, the memories that you bring back will last a lifetime. What are your final thoughts about this epic weekend, this media blitz, Christina?
I can't say enough just how much fun it was to have a mini museum at the Ritz-Carlton at the south end of Central Park, and just media from all over the world, and film writers and musicians and actors and directors and all these people coming through and asking us questions about the Whaling Museum and just getting a chance to tell our story was just thrilling. And it was just a great team of people we had down there. We had a ton of fun. Wonderful supporters of the museum popped by to celebrate with us. Dagny being there and staying late to help us pack up last night. Driving a U-Haul truck down Park Avenue last night. Really a lot of wonderful memories, and just we were so thankful for Warner Brothers' generosity and the Ritz as well. We just had such a great time, and I think it'll reverberate for quite a long time at the Whaling Museum.
Terrific. And Arthur, as the Director of Marketing and an expert in New Bedford's whaling history, folks, the reason why Arthur said that I'm an aficionado of movies is because, well, you tell them, all right? You tell them, Arthur.
Well, Phil and I go back a little bit. Phil was vital in the filming of Passionata a few years ago, including at the diner. Phil even appears in the film.
My left ear does. My left ear.
No. you're in there, and you fed the cast and Thea Milos and none other than Isaacs, who
right,
I'm not
Jason.
Sure
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So you were. That was a central scene.
We were in a scene together, Arthur and I. But I didn't have to bring bail money for that shooting, unlike over the weekend where you almost got arrested. No, I'm not kidding.
That's right.
Arthur?
For me, the thrill, Phil, there was to see the 12th floor of the Ritz-Carlton taken over by Warner Brothers and their media people. There were cables everywhere. The immense machinery and effort that goes into getting global media interested in this particular story it was resources we couldn't only dream of. And there they all were, and they were all working on a narrative that we care about here, and that helps to elevate New Bedford. It cements New Bedford's heritage to the sea, and it was all being done for us. And we were helping with this important exhibit, but it was an enormous effort, and no way could we have done such a thing.
Absolutely.
So it's a fantastic opportunity.
Arthur, thank you. Christina, thank you. And as we turn finally to James Russell, CEO and President of the New Bedford Whaling Museum, known around the globe for its excellence, showcasing this epic, our history, showcasing this must mean so much to you personally.
It's a great validation. I think we can all come away from this. We know the story, as Christina alluded to. We know how important it is. You know, it was great to hear everybody else saying how important it is. And, you know, for right or wrong, we look to Hollywood for a lot of these cues. And to have this validated at that level in the cultural realm, it should give us all, a high sense of pride, and I think we all feel that. And I would say that, kudos to the team in New Bedford for being opportunistic about seeing the opportunity and making sure that we could connect ourselves with Warner Brothers in this regard. By the way, we were also very willing to go to Berlin and Paris and Mexico for their premiere. I'm not sure whether they were going to take us up on that.
I hear Christina chuckling in the background there. You want to go there, Christina? Huh?
Yes. I volunteer, absolutely.
Arthur, Christina, James, how do we say thank you with the appropriate amount of gratitude? This is just marvelous, and the story continues.
Well, I think we say thank you for let everybody come to the Moby Dick Marathon, our 20th anniversary, and hopefully you can see Nat Philbrick in person and have him sign that book I gave you.
There you go. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Phil.
Oh, thank you, Christina. Arthur, all of the best. We'll see you in the green room. And James, thank you. James Russell.
Thanks. Thanks very much.
The very, very best. I'm Phil Paleologus, and this is New Bedford's News Talk Station, 1420 WBSM.